Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, for calling this very meaningful hearing, and I am so proud that one of my constituents, Peter Morley, was invited to testify. He is the most effective patient advocate I have ever met, and he has been a fierce defender of the Affordable Care Act. Peter, thousands of patients and their families have reached out to you to share their stories and asked you to bring those stories to Congress. Can you share what some of these stories are like, and is there any one that stands out to you?
Absolutely. There are many that actually stand out to me. The hardest stories for me to listen to are the people who could have been saved had the ACA been enacted, and also the patients who would have, like some of these people, these patients have testified here today, they would have been diagnosed sooner. Their conditions would have been more under control and in some cases healed. I hear from patients who, rather caregivers who are, they have medically fragile children and they get their health insurance because of Medicaid expansion. I hear from people in states such as Texas, Florida, North Carolina, and Tennessee who don't have that same luxury because their states have not expanded Medicaid, and they are denied that type of coverage had they lived in a separate state, and they can't afford to move to another state to receive that type of coverage. Those are the stories that keep me up at night. And of course, since I have lupus, anyone who reaches out to me who suffers from lupus and tells me, "Thank you, Peter, for going to DC. I don't know where you get that energy to do it." And truthfully, I don't know either. I'm grateful to be here. It's that energy, as these patients have testified. It takes a lot of guts and a lot of courage to come here and to share something so vulnerable and so personal.
I know you suffer from chronic diseases, and I know personally from our exchanges that it's very painful for you physically to come here. Why do you make these trips?
Because honestly, Congresswoman, I never expect to sit, whether it's a Democratic or Republican legislator, I never expect to change anyone's mind. But what I have learned from coming down here is it brings me hope. Hope that there is a chance for change. Hope that one person will listen, because it really only takes one person. And the hope that the people who follow me on social media, they receive and they say to me, you know, "Peter, thank you. Thank you. I can feel that, you know, something positive may come out of all this sabotage that we have witnessed." So.
Peter, the Trump administration's recent attack on the Affordable Care Act in the form of the Texas versus United States court case really threatens health care for millions of Americans. What would it mean for your friends, the patients and families that you've spoken to, if protections for people with pre-existing conditions are eliminated?
In some cases, it might limit their access to medications and to life-saving infusions and to cancer treatments, and it could, I mean, it very well would mean death.
What about if Medicaid was eliminated? What would that mean?
Medicaid expansion?
Yeah. What would happen? What would happen to these families?
A lot of them would lose coverage and access.
And what would it mean to the parents of medically fragile children who have reached out to you if the entire Affordable Care Act, what would happen to them if the Affordable Care Act was eliminated?
I honestly don't know, but I do know that they experience, just even if that didn't happen, they experience an incredible deal of stress. And this even having to focus on that has caused them an undue stress, and it's already stress, as we all know, when we have a chronic illness. So it's stress upon stress.
My time has expired. I am proud to be in this fight with you, and I am so proud of you.
I'm proud of you.
You announce Mr. Heiss.